Let me call to order tonight's meeting of the Jacksonville Beach Board of Adjustment. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Scott Cummings,
Present.
Alexa Gonzalez. Here. John Moreland,
Here.
Francis Reddington,
Here.
Jeff Trudeau, Owen Curley,
Here.
Dan Almala.
Present.
Okay, I've had no ex parte communications with anyone regarding any of the cases tonight.
No
I've
ex,
had none.
no ex parte communication.
I've had none. I've had none. Have people had an opportunity to read the minutes of the June 1st, 2021 meeting?
Yes, I move we approve the minutes from the June 1st meeting.
Second. Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. We have no correspondence. And we will go to our first item of new business.
Board calls case number BOA number 21-100064 /21-1000065/21-1000066 and 67. Applicant John Atkins, Atkins Builders. Owner Ines Reese. Property address 2109 Morton Avenue. Parcel ID 179049-0000. Legal description lots 10, 11, and 12, Block R, fermenters replat of South Pablo or Atlantic Campgrounds. Current zoning RM2. Motion to consider a variance from Land Development Code sections 34-340E4C2 for side yard setbacks of 5 feet each in lieu of 10 feet minimum, and 34-340E4C3 for a rear yard setback of 20 feet in lieu of 30 feet minimum to allow for construction of a new 4-unit townhouse project.
You can be sworn in, please.
If I can have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you could state your name and address for the record.
John Atkins, 1888 Foss Lane, Jacksonville Beach. Hardship is each one of these lots is undersized for the RM2 zoning. Minimum lot size in RM2 zoning is 60 feet wide and 6,000 square feet, excuse me. Sorry about the hard. And so that's the hardship. And what we're proposing here is to combine these three lots, and instead of coming in and asking for individual variances on each individual lot and building a duplex on each lot, combine them, build the four in a pattern of what we've done several times, 20 times around the city. Again, this is three lots of record. There also is, just I'm sure you've driven down there, there's no access to any of these lots right now, so we'll be putting a road and water and sewer along Gordon Avenue, extending that to these lots to make them accessible, because they're really not accessible. The two that are facing 21st, there's a big ditch there, drainage ditch, so it's inaccessible really from 21st, and the road, as you can see, ends before the last lot. So this is a hardships. Again, we're going to also try to do 2 stories instead of 3, and we're not asking for a lot coverage variance of any type. And unfortunately, Jeff is not here, who always asks me for my renderings, which I have if you care to have them. So that's basically it. We're gonna just
I just wanted to make sure. I got confused because the sign for the meeting tonight is actually on the corner of 22nd.
I noticed that last night about 7 o'clock when I went and talked to some of the neighbors directly behind on Gale Avenue. And yeah, I noticed that last night.
Yeah.
So,
But the properties really are just to the north.
correct. They're to the north of that. It was out in front of that, and as you know, we don't put those out.
21, 29 is, they're just north of there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the city actually puts those out, so
Yeah.
I unfortunately hadn't gone by until yesterday. I saw it was in the wrong spot, but.
John, is it the lots that have those suite reservations marked on them for the, I know there's a real estate attorney across the way, 2015, or am I in the wrong place?
No, you mean the parking
And it says reserved for a suite,
to the east of that. That's on the east side of what would be Gordon Avenue, or excuse me, west side, and this will be on the east side.
but the east side is the wet one, it looks like.
Is what?
It looks like it's wet, it looks like it's.
No.
It's not.
No, it's in a flood zone X, as a matter of fact,
Oh,
it's actually. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I apologize, it is an AE flood zone, but everything south there is in the same flood zone. It's just everything's been built up. But, you know, we'll have to, meet all the requirements of the planning, not planning department, excuse me, the public works department. This will also have to go under planning development review because of the way we're putting forward here. So it has to go through the whole planning development review process with the planning department and the, public works and building department. So it'll all be engineered by a professional civil engineer.
Isn't it customary that you go before the planning commission first and then come to us?
It's kind of concurrent. I've been told by Heather and Bill in the past that we can do them concurrently. But either way, and again, I may be speaking out of turn. Christian could probably tell you, I've gone to planning commission several times for this exact same plan, and it's never been an issue. So,
When you combine these three lots, it's 12,000 square feet.
that's correct.
You're saying this is a hardship for RM2?
Well, each individual lot has its own development rights, and each individual lot was like to come in here with a 40 by 100 lot, you know, there's a hardship there. So however this gets developed, whether it gets developed as individual lots or as a larger parcel assembled, there's going to be a hardship because there's platted lots are smaller than platted lot of record. Per the land development code, we could do up to 9 units on this. There are 6 units directly behind this property that are on the exact same size piece of property. There's 6 of them with no parking. Well, these will all have 2-car garages and 2-car driveways. So, and it's a dead-end street. We're not affecting anyone surrounding us.
So when you extend,
Gordon?
Gordon,
Yes.
thank you. When you extend Gordon, you will not extend it all the way to 21st?
No, we'll not intersect the 21st because as you see 21st up there, doesn't come far enough west to intersect.
Yeah.
Nor I don't think anybody really wants to cut through there. You know, it's a little
Yeah.
dead-end street, and, you know, so we're not adding it.
Any other questions, Mr. Atkins?
I have none.
None. You may be seated. And because no one has submitted a card to speak for or against this proposal, let me call the public hearing to an end and bring the matter back to the board.
This hasn't gone before the planning, just on the speed.
I'm assuming, Kristen, that you're correct, that you can do them concurrently or sequentially, the planning commission versus the variance board?
Right, so in essence, if you chose to approve the variance tonight, it wouldn't go into effect until the replat was approved. So it would basically be contingent on that. Now, however, if there were a situation where you denied it, then that might actually affect the replat going forward. So it probably does make some sense to consider the dimensional issues ahead of time.
Okay.
So if we turn it down, he doesn't have to go before the planning commission, or we will go before.
He could still go before the planning commission, but he wouldn't have relief from the dimensional standards, so what he actually builds, or how he builds it may be different. He may choose not to move forward with the replat at that point, because it wouldn't necessarily fit the design constraints.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll be glad to entertain some kind of motion.
I make a motion to approve BOA 21-100064 to 67, based on the standards for a variance as outlined in section 34-340E4C2 and C3 of the Land Development Code.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Scott Cummings,
Yes.
Alexi Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francis Remington,
No.
Owen Carly,
Yes.
John Moran.
Yes. Your motion's been approved, or your request has been approved. Next item on the agenda, please.
Board calls case number BOA number 21-100068, applicant owner Jacob Corzini, property address 530 15th Avenue South, parcel ID 176928, legal description Lot 6, Block 156, Oceanside Park, current zoning RS2, motion to consider a variance from Land Development Code sections 34-337E1C2 for a corner side yard setback of 8.5 feet in lieu of 10 feet minimum, 34-337E1E for 43% lot coverage in lieu of 35% maximum to allow for a swimming pool and paver patio deck addition to an existing single-family dwelling.
And if you could please be sworn in.
Okay, raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And if I can have you state your name and address for the record, and you'll have to speak into that mic, please.
Jacob Corzine, 530 15th Avenue South.
Could we get you to speak a little louder and hold the mic in your hand?
Sorry. It's my first rodeo.
If you could please share with the board the nature of the hardship that you have that's created by the property?
So, the verbiage here is a little bit odd for me. By hardship, as far as the impervious calculation, I would
Yeah.
say that it's probably, not being able to have any kind of a decking around the pool would be a hardship because we're not sure what to do next as far as providing decking that we would be able to get to and from the pool safely on. So we would want some kind of a hard surface that we could not transfer, dirt, debris, microbes, things like that back and forth.
Your hardship is that your lot is undersized.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And I think I mentioned something like that due to the size of the lot that it is difficult to appropriately determine the answers to some of those questions. But
Is the pool already in?
it is not. No, we are planning it. And so the impervious calculation was based on minimal decking that we would want. We're not looking to cover the entire backyard. And in fact, I believe our current impervious calculation is at 55%. And we're looking at removing a large portion of decking we currently have back there, as well as pavers. And so we would like to stay as much within the guidelines that the city has set. And that is where we kind of ended up at this 43%.
I'm a little confused, I guess, the one exhibit I'm looking at, the boundary survey doesn't show the paving proposed, it's a combination of, looking at this. Proposed page 2 of 2 shows decking, but I don't see on the.
There wasn't a 2 of 2 for that one. I believe.
It's the wrong.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. That's one.
So that's not consistent with Is it,
Well, it wouldn't be on the boundary survey, but,
that's your paper decking?
right, that's the mock-up from the design.
That's what you're proposing.
That's what I'm proposing, so.
Well, I think it might be here, is it not? It might just not be shaded as such.
That could be the.
Oh, okay.
But it's, because it's oriented,
Yeah.
you know,
Right, right.
kind of look at it upside down and then you see it's between the
Oh, pool deck.
pool and the
for
house.
60, like 460 square feet.
Yeah. I think that's probably what that refers to.
Any other questions for you?
Yes.
Okay, you may be seated. And again, because no one has filled out paperwork to speak for or against this, I end the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
Nothing we haven't done before.
Yeah, it does seem minimal.
And if this was a standard lot, it would be 35.8% lot coverage.
Thanks, John.
Always come in handy.
0.8% will put it over though.
Yes, it would.
But I have no issues with
I
it.
don't know that he's pleaded enough for us to really make that step. I'll come back up.
I make a motion to approve BOA 21-100068.
Second.
Based on the standards of variances outlined in section 34-284 of the Land Development Section Code.
Second.
Nothing. Special conditions and subsequent exist which are peculiar to this piece of land, building, or structure, which is not applicable to other parcels, lands, structures, or building in the zone. Okay, now you can.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Alexi Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francis Reddington, Scott Fleming,
Yes.
Owen Curley,
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes. Your request has been approved. Next item on this agenda?
Board calls case number BOA number 21-100073, applicant owner Jennifer B. Hunt, property address 711 Hendon Road, parcel ID 177862-0005, legal description lot 10, block 11, Pine Grove Unit 2, current zoning RS1. Motion to consider a variance from Land Development Code Sections 34-336E1E for 44% lot coverage in lieu of 35% maximum to allow for a swimming pool and paver patio deck addition to an existing single-family dwelling.
And if you can please be sworn in.
Do you, if I can have you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And if I can have you state your name and address for the record?
Jennifer B. Hunt at 711 Pendon Road, Jacksonville Beach.
And if you could share with us the nature of the hardship created by your property?
Basically just that, I mean, we wanted to build a pool and for safety reasons wanted to have at least some decking around it. Our lot is a corner lot, and just because of the way the builders built the other two houses on the sides of us, this would maintain the most value of our house and just make things as safe as possible for around the pool.
Can you tell me more about that?
So there are some pavers already. Our neighbor to one side, their house was actually somehow illegally set back. Some there is a newer construction, and the construction people actually set it back a little bit too much. So we actually have like just an odd shaped yard and a little bit less yard than we do. Most of our yard is actually outside of our lot, and it's city property that we maintain, just on the outside of our fence and around it, since we are a corner. And then the same with our neighbor behind us, that would be on 6th Ave. Their yard is a corner yard, so it's just kind of all this would basically just help us to maintain the value of our house with the least amount of pavers possible.
Any other questions or comments for the applicant? You may be seated.
Thank you.
I call the public hearing to an end. Bring it back to the board.
It would leave a lot of undersized.
Yeah, pretty drastically. And it is, the home is sort of situated at an angle on the property as well, which poses another hardship.
Anyone like to speak up?
I'm afraid to with all these new rules that haven't been here for over a month.
I make a motion to approve BOA 21-100073 based on the standards for variance as outlined in section 34-286 of the Land Development Code.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Francis Reddington? Scott Cummings?
Yes.
Alexis Gonzalez?
Yes.
Owen Curley?
Yes.
John Martin?
Yes. Your request has been approved. And our last item on the agenda?
Board calls case number BOA number 21-100074. Applicant owner Jack and Megan Dunn. Property address 3338 Isabella Boulevard. Parcel ID 180819-4219. Legal description Lot 12, Block 10, Ocean View Highlands. Current zoning RS2. Motion to consider a variance from Land Development Code Sections 34-336E1E for 49.9% lot coverage, 45% previously approved, to allow for construction of a paver patio deck addition around a coping-only pool to an existing single-family dwelling.
And if you'll let yourself please be sworn in.
If you can raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jack Dunn. My wife Megan Dunn. We live at 3338 Isabella Boulevard, Jacksonville Beach.
And if you could describe the nature of the hardship created by your property, please?
Yeah, so we have an undersized lot, and we're requesting the 49.9% lot coverage and move the current 45%, just for allow for modest decking around our swimming pool that we're building. This is in standing with current approved lot coverages to single-family homes in the area, 49.9% to 2578 Orange Street, and 49% to 3376 Isabella Boulevard. It would allow for our family to fully utilize the pool and pool area without bringing debris into the pool. It also allows for an area to walk around the pool and some minimal seating and tables around the pool as well.
And you've probably heard about our attitude towards things that go 50%.
I have. Yes, sir.
Why didn't you ask for this when you were, for your first?
When we built the house 5 years ago, the current standard at that time was 45%. With the new standards that are around our area going into the 49 and above, we want to just give a little bit more to make it safer for our kids, that way they're not running into dirt and then into the pool.
Any other questions or comments for the applicant? If not, you may be seated.
Thank you.
And I close the public hearing and bring it back to the full board.
Well, it gets around fast, doesn't it?
We've been on this for a long time.
Getting variances and they're coming into our water.
Yeah, I don't love that precedent, but when you look at how small their lot is, and I think the reason that we've approved at that percentage often in the past is because, I mean, their lot's not even 6,000 square feet.
And it would be 39.9% if standard lot.
That's over 35%.
It is.
The staff report is saying it's a RS1, and the case is stating it's RS2. Which one is it?
That's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an RS1.
Through the chair, so this is actually something that we've discovered. There are a handful of properties that there's some discrepancy between one map, the historic map, and more current maps. It is RS1, but I think when the application was taken in, depending on which map you're looking at, it was RS2. But RS1 is the correct zoning category.
Okay. So it's a bigger hardship than we realized.
Yes.
I said it was an RS1. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just didn't sound confident. Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve BOA 21-100074 based on the standards for variances outlined in section 34-286 of the Wayne Development Code.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Scott Cummings,
Yes.
Alexi Gonzalez,
Yes.
Francis Reddington,
Yes.
Owen Crowley,
Yes.
John Moran.
Yes. Your request has been approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
And once again, we thank the police department for being here.
Thank you.
And our next meeting is, I think, the 6th of July.
Yeah, that's correct.
It is July 6th, and there are 5 scheduled cases at this point in time. And that's, that may change since we've got 3 weeks.
It's totally possible, yeah.
Pardon me?
Sketch, if we ask 6 or less.
I move we adjourn.
I would like to say something before we adjourn. I am officially resigning after this evening from the board.
Oh.
I'm in the midst of trying to sell my house right now, getting ready for my move, so I think it's best time for me to step back and let our alternates who do a very good job take over.
Well, we'll wish you,
Thank you.
you made a contribution, more than one.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's been moved, and we heard you second. That's your last act on the board.
Sure, I'll second that last one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.